Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Welcome to an episode of Talk Shauq. Your host, Zamin Rizvi. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, all the viewers around the world. Once again, we are here with a very interesting topic and another very interesting and knowledgeable personality. I would introduce you to, I'm very privileged to have him in our studio. And by profession, he's a software engineer and he started reciting majalis in Hyderabad, Deccan since 2005, and he has been reciting majalis and giving religious lectures throughout United States, and even working as a full-time. He is still studying and continuously studying Islamic history, which is his interest: Hadith, Quran, and Islamic history. And his teachers are also residing in Qum as well as Chicago. So let's welcome. He's, although very young, as far as I'm concerned, he's very young kid, but he's a Maulana, so I have to address him as Maulana Shabbir Abdi. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa
How
barakatuh.
are you, Maulana?
Alhamdulillah, I'm well. Thank you very much, Brother Zamin Rizvi, for having me here.
My pleasure.
Thank you. I would also like to thank Wajahat Rizvi 93 uh, YouTube channel for inviting me today and organizing this amazing podcast series. You guys are doing a lot of hard work. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant you a lot of blessings.
Thank you so much, Maulana. Thank you for such an and definitely Wajahat Rizvi 93 is doing a great job. And thank you for being here. So, Maulana, let's start, I guess. So, Maulana, as we're going to be talking about youth in Western world, as we are seeing in America, youth are now becoming a subject that a lot of people want to talk about. And they have different reasons to talk about, different problems, different issues, which did not, when I was growing up in Pakistan, I did not have, but these youths have different angles of looking at life and having different issues. So I know you were, pretty much you got your education in America and you are a young kid. You've been through a lot and you give lectures, Islamic lectures in majalis, so you can relate to the youth much better, uh, in a better way, and you can explain things much better. So my first question to you, Molana, is: should our youth be proud of following Tawheed and the path of Al Bath?
Yes, they all should be proud of their faith. They are following Tawheed, which is the essence of our creation.
Explain what Tawheed is, Molana.
Tawheed is oneness of Allah. And in a very short answer, Tawheed, although we say oneness of Allah, but it comes with conditions. If we fulfill those conditions, then we have really, really believed in Tawheed. And those conditions are the conditions that we come across in one of the narrations of Imam Rida alayhi salam when he was on his way to Nishapur. And there he mentioned that Tawheed is the fortress. Whoever enters the fortress has secured himself from the wrath of Allah, the adhab of Allah. And as he made more progress in narrating, he said, there are conditions, and I am one of those conditions. That means Tawheed is incomplete without Ahl al Bayt, and whoever has followed Ahl al Bayt has truly believed in Tawheed, and it completes the circle.
MashaAllah. So Tawheed and Al Bath go hand in hand.
They both go hand in hand. Yeah.
Okay. So youth should be following not only the path of Allah, but the path of Alul Bayt. Or are they the same path?
Ahl al Bayt are the ambassadors of Allah. Let's put it this way. How are we going to reach Allah? How are we going to reach Tawheed? There has to be a guide who can point out this is the path. And Ahlul Bayt does that. Ahlul Bayt shows the path towards Tawheed, towards Allah. So without Ahlul Bayt, we cannot reach. Ahlul Bayt are the door of Allah. They will take you to Allah. So going to Ahlul Bayt is entering those doors. Although there are 14 doors, but they all open to one exit, and that is Tawheed.
Okay, mashallah. So, Maulana, moving forward, I know our youth who are born in Western world, they want to fit into this society. Now, this is not an Islamic society, as we all know. Uh, this is pretty much like they say, it's a melting pot. I mean, every religion, every caste, every creed, every culture is coming to these areas and spreading their own flavors or colors, as you would say. So, how would you say that maintaining our youth should maintain the Islamic practices while at work or at school and also fit into the society? Is that achievable? If yes, how?
What I would say to that question is we should always be proud of our faith and our identity as being Muslims and followers of Ahlul Bayt. If we let's just put it this way, to be more generic, we are Muslims. We should be proud of it.
Absolutely.
Second, what is the problem in expressing that we are Muslim? I don't think there should be a problem. The problem comes into picture when, because of certain actions in the history, we are trying to limit ourselves from expressing our faith or to express our identity as being a Muslim. I don't think that there should be a problem, at least in this century, in this day and age, when we see that certain groups are able to fully practice their faith. We should also step up and follow our faith. Because if we try to limit ourselves and isolate ourselves because we don't want people to know that we are Muslims, this is going to create drawback. And that is one, we are saying that Muslims are not practicing. Two, we are taking away the chance that we already have. If people are ready to let us practice, they may take it back. We don't want to lose that advantage that we currently have. So, trying to fit into this Western society, first of all, the Western society is all built up with people from different cultures, different religions. So, the Western society's image is dynamic. There is one thing for sure: growing up in Western society does not necessarily mean that you take up the cultural identity of the Western society and blend it into your faith, because you have to always maintain this difference. The culture where you live is different, your religion is always different. You have to separate the two. Do not blend both together and think that there is a challenge. We cannot blend in. I cannot wear a hijab. Of course, you can wear a hijab. There is no problem in wearing a hijab. It is all upon you. If you want to be a strong person and send a strong message that in this day and age, in the Western society, I can practice my religion, you wear a hijab. There is no problem. Right. But you have to be an ambassador of your own faith. So, to conclude that answer, I would say that there are ways that you can keep yourself acquainted with your society while maintaining your religious identity, because everybody has a right to follow their faith.
100%. Thank you so much. And on just to elaborate on that, hijab, you gave a very good example. Our sisters and daughters, sometimes they're mocked by, American people or some other religion. So we're going to talk about that more. And I'm definitely, we are going to have a sister come here and explain those things. But that's a very good example. And what about kids who are in school, let's say Zohar time or Asr time? And I think it's a very open society. Nobody judges you, and they can ask for a little place where they can pray. I think we should also encourage our kids to do that. They do it in universities, but not in high school or middle school. So we should also encourage them. And I think schools here are pretty open about religious freedom. Thank you. And other thing, Maulana, and I'm going to be jumping into Urdu because it is concerning parents. And I know we are catering to both English speaking and Urdu speaking viewers. तो जो parents हैं उनको काफ़ी concern है about raising their kids who are Muslims in a Western world. There are many, many issues. We are going to be digging deeper as we go on. There's going to be many programs about youth. But let's talk about the surface of it. Like, how should जो parents हैं वो उनको डर जो है अपने बच्चों का वेस्टर्न वर्ल्ड में उनसे कैसे डील करें वो पेरेंट्स डू यू हैव एनी सजेशंस फॉर द पेरेंट्स
पेरेंट्स जो अपने बच्चों को वेस्टर्न सोसाइटी में देखना चाहते हैं और हाउ टू रेज देम उनके लिए जो कंसर्न्स हैं, पहली बात तो ये है कि उन्हें चाहिए कि वो अपनी पेरेंटिंग स्टाइल को चेंज करें, क्योंकि जो पेरेंटिंग स्टाइल उनके ऊपर इम्प्लीमेंट हुआ था वो सेम पेरेंटिंग स्टाइल वेस्टर्न कल्चर में अपने बच्चों पे इम्प्लीमेंट नहीं कर सकते.
और ये तो शायद मौला अली का भी कॉल है कि
They do refer वो narration को, but it is true. पेरेंट्स किसी और ज़माने के लिए पैदा हुए थे और उनकी औलाद किसी और ज़माने से वाबस्ता है. टाइम पीरियड दोनों का अलग है. तो इस सूरत में वही स्केड्यूल और इम्प्लीमेंटिंग स्टाइल इम्प्लीमेंट नहीं किया जा सकता बच्चों पे जो उनके माँ बाप ने किया था. केटर करना चाहिए, ऑल्टर करना चाहिए सो दैट दे कैन हेल्प देयर किड्स. सो अब इसमें होता ये है कि बच्चों पे सबसे ज़्यादा ज़्यादती की जाती है, इम्पोज किया जाता है. इसमें प्रॉब्लम ये है कि बच्चे उसे हैंडल नहीं कर पाते. किसी के ऊपर भी आप कोई चीज़ इम्पोज नहीं कर सकते. हत्ता ये कि हमारा दीन कहता है हमसे ला इकराहा फिद्दीन, दीन में जबर नहीं है. जब दीन में जबर नहीं है तो फिर हम किसी पे दीन इम्प्लीमेंट करने की भी जबर नहीं कर सकते, इम्पोज बिल्कुल नहीं कर सकते. मुझे एक वाक़या अभी याद आया, बहुत ज़माना पहले मैंने किसी से सुना था. एक वालिद साहब कह रहे थे कि फ़ज्र की नमाज़ के लिए हम सब उठते हैं मगर मेरा एक दूसरा लड़का नहीं उठता. जब मैंने उसे उठाना चाहा तो उसने कहा कि बाबा आप मुझे क्यों फ़ोर्स कर रहे हैं, ला इकराहा फ़िद्दीन है दीन में. तो मैंने कहा तुम सही कह रहे हो, मैंने छोड़ दिया. बात ये है कि यकीनन उसे नमाज़ पढ़ी होगी मगर बात यही है कि हम किसी को इम्पोज़ नहीं कर सकते. वो तो सिर्फ नमाज की बात थी और नमाज सबको टाइम पे पढ़नी चाहिए, नो डाउट. लेकिन पेरेंट्स को इस बात का ख्याल रखना चाहिए कि वेस्टर्न सोसाइटी में जब आप अपने बच्चों को रेज़ कर रहे हैं तो उनको इस तरह से रेज़ ना करें कि वो रिबेलियन हो जाएं, बगावत करने पे आ जाएं. जब वो बगावत करने पे आ जाएंगे तो फिर वहाँ मसला और बिगड़ जाता है. जब मसला और बिगड़ जाता है तो फिर उसका कोई सॉल्यूशन नज़र नहीं आता. एक माँ बाप अपने बच्चों को हाथ से खो देते हैं और औलाद अपने माँ बाप से मुतनफ़िर हो जाती है. अच्छी बात भी अगर माँ बाप करें तो फिर माँ बाप की बात औलाद नहीं सुनती. मसला नमाज का हो या हिजाब का हो, बच्चों को जब तक आप बताएंगे नहीं कि इसका सिग्निफिकेंस क्या है, इसका इम्पोर्टेंस क्या है, वो लोग किस तरह अमल करेंगे. और अमल कर भी रहे हैं, उन्हें अंदाज़ा नहीं है इस चीज़ का, तो फिर वो अमल अपने कंप्लीशन को किस तरह पहुंचेगा. तो फर्स्ट थिंग इज़ माँ बाप को चाहिए कि अपना पेरेंटिंग स्टाइल चेंज करें. सेकंड, बच्चों पे ज़्यादती ना करें. तीसरे ये कि उनको मुतनफ़िर ना होने दें. और उसके साथ साथ पेरेंटिंग स्टाइल अगर हम कुरान हकीम से देखें तो उमूमन हम लोग मिसाल देते हैं जब औलाद की बात आती है तो जनाब लुक़मान की. मगर मैं एक और तज़किरा करूँगा, वो है जनाब इब्राहीम. और जनाब इब्राहीम जब अल्लाह से दुआ मांग रहे हैं कि सूरह अस्साफ़ात में बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम ربی حبلی من الصالحین، پروردگار مجھے عطا فرما ذریت کہ جو صالحین میں سے ہو، نیکوکاروں میں سے ہو۔ پھر اس کے بعد جناب ابراہیم کو اللہ نے بشارت دی، فَبَشَّرْنَاهُ بِغُلَامٍ حلیم، ایک حلم والا بردبار فرزند کی ہم نے بشارت دی۔ پھر اس کے بعد جناب اسماعیل کا تذکرہ وہاں شروع ہوتا ہے، فَلَمَّا بَلَغَ مَعَهُ سَعْيًا، کہ جب اسماعیل اس عمر کو پہنچ گئے کہ جب وہ کام کرنے لگے، تو جناب ابراہیم نے ان سے کہا کہ یا بنی انی ارا فی المنام انی اذبحک فانظر ماذا تری، بیٹے میں نے خواب میں دیکھا کہ میں تمہیں ذبح کر رہا ہوں، بتاؤ تم کیا کہتے ہو؟ انہوں نے کہا کہ یا ابت افعل ما تؤمر، بابا آپ وہ کیجئے جو آپ کو حکم دیا گیا ہے، ستجدون انشاءاللہ من الصالحین من الصابرین، یقیناً آپ مجھے صابرین میں سے پائیں گے۔ تو یہ جو باپ اور بیٹے کے درمیان مکالمہ ہے، آپ یہ آرگیو کر سکتے ہیں کہ یہ تو انبیاء ہیں، مگر ایک مرتبہ آپ یہ بھی تو دیکھیے کہ ایک باپ اپنے بیٹے سے ایک سوال کر رہا ہے کہ میں خواب میں تمہیں ذبح کرتا ہوا دیکھ رہا ہوں، بتاؤ تم کیا کہنا چاہتے ہو اس مسئلے میں؟ جناب اسماعیل نے کہا کہ آپ کیجئے جو آپ کو حکم دیا گیا ہے۔ یہ سٹائل آف پیرنٹنگ اگر ہم پورے طریقے سے اپنے اولاد پہ اپلائی کریں، کون سا پیرنٹنگ سٹائل؟ وہ حدیث جو رسول اللہ صلی اللہ علیہ وآلہ وسلم اور ائمہ طاہرین علیہ السلام سے وارد ہوئی ہیں کہ اپنی اولاد کو 7 سال تک، میں پیرافریز کر کے کہوں، ٹریٹ ایسے کرو جیسا کہ وہ کنگ ہیں، 7 سال تک۔ پھر 7 سال سے لے کے 8 ایئر سے لے کے 14 سال تک ان کی تربیت کرو، یعنی اب یہاں پہ وہ ایز اے سولجر ہیں، کمانڈ فالو کر رہے ہیں۔ پھر 15 سال سے 21 سال تک بحیثیت وزیر، ایز این ایڈوائزر۔ تو یہ جو 7 ڈفرینٹ سٹیجز ہیں تربیت کے، اور تربیت صحیح معنوں میں دیکھی جائے تو مطلب یہ ہے کہ آپ کسی چیز کو اس کے پرفیکشن کی جانب لے کے جا رہے ہیں۔ اللہ رب العالمین ہے، رب ہے، تربیت کرنے والا ہے، اور اس نے نظام بنایا تربیت کا انبیاء کو بھیج کے، یعنی انبیاء انسان کو تربیت دے رہے ہیں کمپلیشن، ان کی پرفیکشن کی جانب۔ تو ماں باپ بھی تربیت دینے والے ہیں، تو ان کا بھی اصول یہی بنتا ہے کہ اپنی اولاد کو پرفیکشن کی جانب لے جائیں۔ تو پیرنٹس کو چاہیے کہ وہ اہل بیت کی ٹیچنگز کو مد نظر رکھتے ہوئے صحیح تربیت کریں۔ تو بائی دی ایج آف 21 یہ لوگ اپنی کمپلیشن پہ پہنچ جائیں گے، اور اس کے بعد they will be able to decide between what's good and what's bad. If they're able to achieve this, then they don't have to worry about. پرابلم ہمیں یہی دیکھنے میں آتا ہے کہ یہاں کنسرن جو ماں باپ کو ہے، تو شروعات تربیت سے کرنی چاہیے۔ اگر آپ اسلامی فریم ورک کے تحت اپنی اولاد کی تربیت کریں گے تو وہ اولاد دنیا کے کسی کونے میں بھی چلی جائے، وہ کبھی دین سے دور نہیں ہوگی، ہمیشہ کنیکٹڈ رہے گی، ماں باپ کی عزت بھی کرے گی، ماں باپ کا خیال بھی رکھے گی۔ اگر ہم 7 ایئرس اور 14 ایئرس کی جو ایج ہے ان کی، ٹین ایج ایئرس، 14 ایئرس تک، ارلی ٹین ایج، اگر اس میں ہم صحیح تربیت نہ کر پائیں اور وہ بہک جائیں اسی ماحول میں، تو پھر آگے چل کے بہت پرابلم ہوتی ہے۔ تو ماں باپ کو چاہیے کہ قرآن اور احادیث کی روشنی میں اپنی اولاد کی صحیح تربیت کرے۔ ٹو فردر ایڈ، پیرنٹس کو چاہیے کہ اپنے بچوں کے سامنے آرگیو کبھی نہ کریں۔ ویسٹرن کلچر میں آپ دیکھیں گے کہ یہاں پر ایموشنل اسٹریس کو اہمیت دی جاتی ہے زیادہ، چاہے وہ ڈپریشن ہو، انگزائٹی ہو، اسٹریس ہو، بہت ساری چیزیں ایسی ہیں کہ یہاں پہ بہت زیادہ اہمیت دی جاتی ہے۔ جب اہمیت دی جاتی ہے تو ہم کو چاہیے کہ اپنی اولاد کو اس لیول پہ نہ جانے دیں جہاں پہ وہ ان تمام سائیکولوجیکل افیکٹس کا شکار ہوں۔ بچوں کے سامنے لڑائی نہ کریں، آرگیو نہ کریں، اور اگر کوئی بات بھی ہو تو ڈو سم تھنگ، آپ یو نو گو آؤٹ آف دیٹ سین، پانی پیجیے، اپنے آپ کو ٹھنڈا کیجیے، اور اولاد سے بھی جب کبھی کوئی بات کرنی ہو تو نرمی کے ساتھ ان کو سمجھائیں تاکہ وہ ماں باپ کی بات مانیں۔ کنسرنس اس ویسٹرن سوسائٹی میں بہت سارے ہیں، لیکن ان تمام کی جڑ گھر ہے۔ اگر آپ گھر کو مضبوط بنائیں گے، اگر انہیں ماحول دیں گے محبت کا اور اسٹرانگ بنائیں گے انہیں گھر پہ، تو یقیناً وہ باہر بھی اسٹرانگ نظر آئیں گے۔ اگر گھر کا ماحول بکھرا ہوا ہے، کمزور ہے، تو ان کی سائیکالوجی پہ افیکٹ کرے گا وہ۔ جب سائیکالوجی پہ افیکٹ کرے گا تو ان کے کردار پہ افیکٹ ہوگا، تو باہر کسی برے گروپ کے وہ شکار ہو جائیں گے، برے ماحول کے شکار ہو جائیں گے، اور دین اس سے آہستہ آہستہ وہ دور ہو جائیں گے۔ اور میں نے یہ بات سنی ہے بچوں سے کہ ہمیں کیا ضرورت ہے یہ سب کرنے کی، بس ہم کو چاہیے کہ کوئی اچھا کام کر لیں، وہی اللہ کو پسند آئے گا، اور وی ول فیل comfortable اینڈ content۔ تو ہم کو چاہیے کہ وی شوڈ ناٹ ڈرائیو دیم ٹو دی پلیس where they want to implement their own version of religion.
تو مولانا بیسکلی وٹ آئی انڈرسٹوڈ رائٹ ناؤ اف یو سمرائز دیٹ ایوری تھنگ لائک چیریٹی بگنز ایٹ ہوم. سو دا تربیت آف یوتھ اور بچے اسٹارٹس فرام ہوم. اسکول کا ویٹ نہ کریں یا کسی دینی مدرسے کا ویٹ نہ کریں، آپ کے گھر سے شروع ہونی چاہیے وہ تربیت. اور جیسے کہ آپ نے ابھی بڑا اچھی چیز پوائنٹ آؤٹ کی، میں اردو میں اس لیے بات کر رہا ہوں کیونکہ پیرنٹس بھی سن رہے ہیں. میرے 3 بچے ہیں، ٹھیک ہے، ہماری گفتگو بھی ہوتی ہے، بات بھی ہوتی ہے، لیکن میری وائف کے ساتھ ایک ڈیلنگ ہے. میں اپنا پرسنل بتا دیتا ہوں. اگر ہم کسی چیز پہ کانفلکٹ میں ہیں بچے کی کہ اس کو کالج وہاں بھیجیں، یہ بیڈ روم میں ڈسکشن ہوگی، وہیں ڈیسائیڈ ہوگے. جب باہر آئیں گے تو وہ ہم ایک زبان ہوں گے، وہاں کانفلکٹ نہیں پیدا کریں گے. تو آئی تھنک دیٹس وٹ یو آر سیئنگ. اس کی وجہ سے ان پہ ذہنی اثرات ہوتے ہیں بچوں پہ کہ ماں باپ لڑتے ہیں اینڈ دین دے گو آؤٹ اینڈ گیٹ انٹو a pickle, or something, pickles. تو ٹھیک ہے، یہ تو دیٹس ویری گڈ. اینڈ مولانا ان فیوچر ایپیسوڈز آئی تھنک وی کین ڈگ ان ڈیپ اباؤٹ.
ہاں، رائٹس آف چلڈرن، رائٹس آف پیرنٹس، یہ بہت ضروری ہے، اور آج کل کے دور میں ہر ایک کو احساس ہونا چاہیے کہ واٹ رائٹس دے ہیو، اور انہیں اس طرح اپنی ذمہ داری پوری کرنی چاہیے.
مولانا رائٹس پہ بھی ہم آئیں گے اور گفتگو کریں گے، لیکن کچھ بچے رائٹس کو ایک الگ لیول پہ لے کے چلے جاتے ہیں. ان کو بھی یہ پتہ ہونا چاہیے کہ دین میں ماں باپ سے بڑھ کے کسی کے رائٹس نہیں ہیں. مطلب اللہ نے ایک دفعہ یہ بھی کہہ دیا کہ اگر میں کسی کو سجدہ کرنے کو کہتا میرے بعد تو ماں باپ ہوتے. تو اس پہ ہم گفتگو کریں گے آگے چل کے ایک اور ایپیسوڈس میں. لیکن چلیں، یو ہیو ریز دس پوائنٹ اینڈ یو ہیو ٹچڈ اٹ a little bit, not in details, but I wanted to ask you کہ there's a big difference between religion and culture, you know. تو وہ اکثر ماں باپ are unable to communicate this to the kid کہ religion کیا ہے اور culture کیا ہے. For example, we are having a Thanksgiving dinner. It's cultural. It's got nothing to do with religion. تو اس کے بارے میں آپ بتائیے، ہاؤ کین پیرنٹس ڈسٹنگوش اینڈ ٹیل دیئر کڈس دا ڈفرنس بٹوین کلچر اینڈ ریلیجن. لائک وین آئی واز گروئنگ اپ مائی کلچر واز ڈفرنٹ ان پاکستان اور انڈیا. ہیئر دا کلچر از ڈفرنٹ بٹ دا ریلیجن از سیم. سو کین یو ٹاک اباؤٹ دیٹ a little bit?
Yeah, unfortunately, there are a lot of cultural activities that are blended as part of religious activities, and we need to differentiate. We need to point them out that these are not. One thing I will tell you is the issue concerning cousins. Islam says your cousins are namah, whether they are from your aunt's side or uncle's side, father's side or mother's side. They're your namahram. The Western society, the Western culture Of course, they call them cousins, but they treat them like siblings or a brother and sister. So the issue of hijab comes here. So you need to tell the kids that although they are your cousins, you're supposed to wear hijab in front of them. True. So that is culture. Treating your cousins like your almost siblings, that's culture. Wearing a hijab in front of your cousins is religion. And there are other instances too. So that's one of those instances. And for instance, in weddings, a lot of things that goes on in the activities, they're all cultural activities. There's nothing that is connected to the religion except for nikah. And of course, the rukhsati is part of the nikah. But nikah is the religious activity. Rest of it is all cultural. So like Thanksgiving is cultural. It didn't exist in Islam. But the beauty of Islam is that Islam brings its own culture. True. And something that we have overlooked, exchanging gifts, treating your neighbors, treating your extended family, be nice to them. I mean, I'm just giving you a very high level gist of things that Islam brings as part of its culture. But Islam is rewarding, even if it's a cultural thing, if you say, it rewards whoever does it. But it's very important to differentiate. So the matter of cousins is one, the matter of functions and their uh, ceremonies is the other one. And there are a few more things that can be definitely pointed out. Why we need to do this is to ensure that the kids do not take those cultural activities as part of religion. They might perceive that if they don't do it, they're probably committing a sin. Right. We don't want that wrong message to go out. And parents need to, first of all, I hope that's not the case, but if they lack their understanding of the religion, they need to fix it first and then fix their children's faith.
But so here's a very important question you just raised. Like a person at my age, I would feel ashamed going to a Maulana as, let's say I'm confused in certain things. And this is for the viewers. That's why I want to address it. That no age is old or young to learn. I think you can learn at every age. So I would be very uncomfortable that going to a Maulana and asking, listen, Maulana, can I correct my namaz? So we think that Maulana has got to be very judgmental that you don't know namaz at this age. So I think there's no one is old or young to learn something new. So parents should go and get, if they don't have the correct understanding, they should go approach someone and find out.
There shouldn't be any shame in correcting themselves.
It's very important, Maulana.
Because if I could bring another issue into our conversation, go ahead. Because it's very sad. People get married, but they don't know to take a ghusl. If you, out of hesitation, never approached a scholar to do what you were supposed to do, then you're living your life completely neglecting your responsibility, ignoring it. So,
Again, Maulana, these are Sharia issues, and you have pointed out very nicely. We are going to talk about these. And because the thing is, this channel is more about awareness and putting knowledge out there. And there are certain norms that we have built upon within our society. We have to break them. Such as just now you have mentioned, going to an alim, if you are not strong enough to teach your kids, you have to learn first.
Right. And one last comment on it. Never assume that an alim is there to judge you. And no alim should ever judge anyone because it's their responsibility. They took an oath to serve you. When they voran amama, they took an oath to serve you. and serve the community. So they are not going to be judgmental. There shouldn't be any shame to reaching out, and there is no age to learn about Islam.
Let me go one step further, if with your permission.
Yes.
In our society, people judge each other a lot. Not only alim, if somebody comes to me or if I come to you to ask for a problem to be resolved, we should not judge each other. हम लोग जजमेंट में पड़ जाते हैं कि इसको ये नहीं पता, इसको वो नहीं पता. हमें जज ही नहीं करना चाहिए किसी को. नॉट आलिम को, किसी आम शख्स को भी किसी को जज नहीं करना चाहिए. इज दैट अ राइट स्टेटमेंट?
किसी को हक नहीं है कि आप किसी को
जज करें सिवाय अल्लाह के. थैंक यू सो मच. ये बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट चीज़ थी. इट्स गुड कि हमारे व्यूअर्स ने सुन लिया. तो मौलाना, इसको आगे बढ़ाते हुए एक और लेट्स टॉक अबाउट मोर, बिकॉज वी द टॉपिक इज यूथ एंड देयर प्रॉब्लम्स. सो there's a Western education which every kid is getting in this society. And then parents are sending their kids to Islamic school once a week, right? Or twice a week, or whatever, or maybe a complete Islamic school we have here in Chicago. So, how do you balance these two educations? Like, my kids come from, let's say, their school curriculum and then they go to Islamic curriculum. How do you balance that? What can a parents do and a kid do to balance these two different approaches of education?
In order to address it, I will tell you my experience growing up. I was primarily raised by my grandparents, and every sunset, the moment they turned the lights on, they would make me sit and recite. They used to call it Sarah ka kalma. So you go through Tawheed, Allah Ek, Panjatan Panch, Imam Bara, and then Quranic surahs, to the extent where I now realize that what they were teaching was part of talqeen. हमारे इमाम 12 हैं, अव्वल इमाम till the 12th, हमारे किताब कुरान है, हमारा काबा qibla है, so on and so forth. So it was embedded in the culture, I would say, when I was growing up. And I grew up in Hyderabad, Deccan. So in today's day and age, we see that we go to school and we also go to a Islamic school, which happens on weekends. How do we balance? Because you have some work that is carried over to the weekends from your school. You got a schoolwork to do, but you also have to go attend Islamic school. And I've been there as a teacher, and I know the struggle the student face. Yes. And I've asked them, be open to me and tell them your challenges. And absolutely, they told me waking up on a weekend is hard. Sometimes they have schoolwork, they don't want to. So, in order to address that, I'm not saying that everybody should implement it because I don't want to sound that I'm against something. Absolutely not. With the system that we have created, it's a well thought system. Right. But in order to balance it out, a few minutes or an hour every day, an hour is still a lot. Half an hour, let's say, parents can take out to teach children the theology or Quran, help them learn Quran, how to read Quran, help them memorize Surah, help them understand what Tawheed is. We have immense content available now online that parents can make use of. Absolutely. Teach them 15 minutes still a lot. Yeah.
People talk about physical well being, work out for 10 minutes every day or 15 minutes. The spiritual, we don't talk about that. So we should also take those 15 minutes out for our spiritual refreshments.
Absolutely. So they can balance it so that we're not overwhelming our children on weekends because Islam promotes healthy well being. We cannot overwhelm our children, we cannot burden them. So, creating this healthy space is more important, and parents can play a vital role in creating it.
Absolutely, Islamic school is also serving tremendously and they're doing a wonderful job. But again, the emphasis is that there should be some teaching at home also.
Yeah, it's not, and not everything can be learned outside.
No, it don't. Absolutely not.
Parents has the biggest responsibility to teach their children, because going back to the 777 distribution of tarbiyah, who are being asked to do it? The parents are asked to do it.
I'm so happy you didn't say 666 because that's a sign of a devil. So you're right. 777 is the distribution of, raising your kids. So, Malana, coming to one of the last questions that I have is that, again, judgmental society, judging people, and a lot of kids get discouraged. For example, in our culture, they read Naat, Marsiya, Noha, Salam, and they are shy that people are going to judge me. And there's a lot of talent being wasted. So I can say it from my personal experience. I encouraged my son, who recites Nohas, but some parents do discourage them. We don't want them to be judgmental and stuff like that. So would you give them some encouraging words that they should come up, talk to any elder to do khidmat for the society?
Right. And I actually say that when you are reciting a Noha or a Manqibat or a Naat or a Quran, you, for instance, yes, I know young talent is heading that direction. I shouldn't say talent, but it is serving the community and the cause of Ahlul Bayt. People should know that this is not about competition. We're not looking out for someone who is talented versus who is less talented. There shouldn't be any judgment. If someone is reciting Noha Manqibat Quran, not, they are doing it because of their love towards the religion, their love towards the Prophet, their love towards Ahlul Bayt. So, if anyone, Allah is the one to judge. And I know for certain that Allah is never going to say, you read this, out of tone or something. Allah accepts even the smallest atom weight, yes, is accepted by Allah with the pure intention. So the intention counts. So don't get discouraged. And people has no right to discourage youth from coming up and reciting in the events. Because if we discourage them today, it is going to create a lot of, it is going to create a gap. And that gap will never be filled again. The kid is going to get discouraged. If he gets discouraged, he's gonna stop coming to the center. When he stop coming to the center, he's gonna sit at home or go out with friends. That means during these special nights, you're missing the kid in the center. Why? Because you said something that he did something that you didn't like. I mean, we're not supposed to judge people who are reciting. It's not up to us, and that is not the area to judge at all. At all. Yeah. So do not discourage them. Let them do it because they're doing it with pure sincerity. Kids these days have more sincerity than, I would say, people at my age or maybe while we were growing up. They're more honest than we were. They're very upfront. So let us encourage. We need to empower our youth, because per Islam, by the age of 21, they are mature, they're adults, that so much that you are asking their advice. So don't treat them like they are kids anymore. And this is the beauty of Islam. Islam tells us that by the age of 21, a human being is mature. So let's not treat them like kids. Let's not discourage them.
Perfect. So, Molana, I know we have a very limited time, but I would like to thank you for taking your time out and giving it to us, talking about youth. I'm extremely thankful. And I'm also, viewers, I'm also thankful to the channel Wajahat Rizvi 93. They're doing an exceptional job. And at this time, what we have talked about with Maulana is that our youth is our future. One kid is as important as the whole community. So, we're going to be talking more about our youth and our future and how to deal with the youth, their issues, their problem in the Western world. So, we come to the end of our session for Talk Shock. Thank you so much, viewers, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you. Be well. Khuda Hafiz.